Hello, you are listening to Between Sets. This is Fuzz.
And Mike.
How are you, Mike? I've just seen you about 2 hours ago, so we haven't got much to talk about. We've spent a lot of time together today.
Yeah, I've seen you all morning. We're just going to have to repeat everything we've been talking about up to now, really.
It's just going to be a bit more of an acted session of us going, just pretending that we've not seen each other.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, to keep people in the loop, we did getting towards a 2 hour push session, I would say.
Yep.
And then
bit of mobility after that.
I had a little bit of a Metcon class, and then a bit of mobility at the end there, which was good.
This is it. So now I'm a personal trainer at the gym that you are at. We're going to be seeing a lot of each other, which will make or break our relationship. It's just like COVID. A lot of those COVID divorces.
Well, you know what they say, if you spend more time with someone, you end up looking more like them. We're near enough there already, so either you've got to grow hair or I've got to start going bald.
I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier if you just went bald, mate.
I know which way this is going, yeah. I know which is
Miracle Grow, that's what I need on my head, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
To be fair, I just shave it because I can't be arsed with the maintenance of... Like, when I was a kid, I would gel my hair constantly. Every single morning, I'd probably spend 20 minutes gelling my hair. You know, back in the 90s where it was cool, or the early noughties.
Yeah.
And I'd have... I'm not sure if it was just a phase for everyone, but did you ever have like that weird fringe? Just the fringe. Everything else was flat, but the fringe came out looking like a fucking Pringle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, up until like fairly recently, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
It wasn't the phase...
no.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Then I also went through the whole long hair phase.
Oh yeah, when was that? Recently again, was it?
No, that one. I mean, that was I'm going to say from the age of about 15 through till about 19-ish.
Oh wow!
It probably would have carried on longer, but I went to. I remember and when I say long hair, I mean like my fringe was like down here, like it was long.
Jesus.
I remember going to the barber's and saying, "Yeah, I just want to trim up," and she just went straight.
Body won't come in that shit. Yeah.
Okay, well that's done. So no, I think I just shaved it off after that. But then the thing is, I'd quite happily have my head shaved now. It doesn't. I do
remember when I had hair. I remember having a full on panic attack because I did not like a certain haircut someone did.
Right.
And then. I think since then I've been bald. I think like I had a bit of a breakdown. I'm like, fuck this shit. Yeah. No, I just can't be arsed of it.
Yeah, I'm not fussed by it. I'd quite happily just shave it off. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
I just had constant bad hair days, and I was just like, I used to gel it. You know when you for face, you just gel it up, and it was just all spiky. Even the back bits, you were just like something out of Sum 41.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't know what to do with it anymore. Like if I don't gel it, I hate my hair. So what's the point? Like, what do you do? Like, and this is going to be a really weird podcast now. Like, we've actually got a guest, by the way. Yeah,
we talk about fitness and stuff, and apparently hair.
And apparently hair that I'm lacking.
What do? I shower in the morning, and then I basically go downstairs.
I don't know about your morning routine, mate. I'm just saying, what product is in your hair? Anything?
I don't know. Some waxy stuff, I guess.
Oh, so you do put product in your hair still?
But
I wasn't sure.
I'll put it this way: the sum total of thought that goes into it is done.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you still invest in styling products, right?
Yeah, I'd rather invest in clippers and just have it off. To be honest,
do that then.
I might.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we do a charity event?
Well, okay, I'll tell you why. The last time I had a shaved head with a beard, I was told, and I quote, "I look like something from the IRA."
Fair dues. Have I ever shown you the photo of me with no hair at all? Like completely shaven, looking like a snooker ball? No. Okay.
No, I don't think I want to see that either.
So no, it's absolutely horrible.
The same way.
But so the main reason why I have a beard, this is exactly it. This is exactly what we need to discuss.
Right.
And we're not really starting this podcast right, really, because we've got an amazing guest coming on soon. And we're talking about hair and bum chins. And that's exactly what I've got. I've got a bum chin. The biggest bum chin you'll ever see. I think it's a Guinness World Record holder. I'm too ashamed to show it.
I can't imagine it.
It is
I
so
can't
big. It's something out of like a cartoon, like Johnny Bravo sort of style, like
like Buzz
American
Lightyear
Dad.
style. Like,
Yes, like
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
such a bum chin. Sometimes I have to wipe it. Like that. It's just it needs maintenance. So yeah, I cover it
I
up.
honestly, I do think people who with non-strong jaws slash chins, I'm would probably put myself into that category. Just grow a beard, and if you can't grow a beard, it really is tough luck. You've been dealt a rough
It
hand.
is, yeah. It's amazing what a beard can hide. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like where I've had my beard for quite a while now. I do shave it off every now and again because I get bored, but I forget where my chin actually ends. Like my head nearly like it adds like a good inch onto the
Yeah.
bottom of
Oh
my head,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And I think it's the way that I sort of cut it. It's like a triangle. I look like an evil villain in like a Disney movie.
Where's your
Yeah.
cat? You need a cat.
Oh yeah, that is one. Yes, one thing I do need. That can fuck off though. The last thing I'm going to get in life is a cat.
Why? They're great.
But yes, we've got a guest coming on soon. We've got Bex, who I'll do a little intro when she comes on. But we've spoken to about her in the past, haven't we?
Yeah.
One of the a strong woman, we like to say. One Suffolk's strongest woman in 2022, and still competing today. So I'll do a little intro near the time, but looking forward to having her on soon. You
Yeah,
got a
absolutely.
massive amount of questions, I'm sure.
Yeah, I really do. I've had another one of my inspirational meme moments, as you like to call them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just an Instagram post that I saw, and there was somebody who is roughly the same body weight as me. I have no idea how tall he is, as to preface this. Like, he could be a lot shorter than me, to be fair. Um, and he was in just competing in a strongman competition, and then coincidentally, we have a strong. Is it strong person, strong woman? Is it a strong woman competition?
I think it's still classed as a strong woman because they don't mix compete. It's like
Right. Okay.
I think anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not. Well, that's a question we can ask.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm going to be overly good at it. I think my power to weight ratio is pretty good, but in terms of like how much weight I can move compared to some of these people, it's nowhere close, right? Um, but I think it'd be quite fun to go into one of these competitions, sort of train for it, go compete, see how we get on. So yeah, I have questions. I kind of want to. I've programmed for bodybuilders before. I've programmed for powerlifters. Never a strong man, strong woman, athletes, if you like. So I want to figure out what the programming is like. What does a week breakdown look like in terms of training? In terms of do they stick to push pull legs? Is it somewhere in between? Yeah,
Have
I
you been
don't know.
following her on Instagram?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
By the looks
Very
of it, there's
strong.
a lot of sprinting, and a lot of throwing shit about. That's
Good.
what I've seen.
That's a bit of me. I like that.
That is a bit of you. I just don't think that's the sort of stuff for a commercial gym. That's the only annoying thing of it.
Well, tough.
Like she's throwing extremely heavy objects over like those Olympic bars. What are they called? Those little high jump bars.
Yes, yeah,
Um,
yeah, I know what you mean. Almost
yeah,
like rugby post height, some of them. Like
yeah.
sandbag post and stuff like that.
Like it
Yeah.
looks fun, but I reckon it's extremely tough.
Well, I think I'd have to find a specific gym to go and practice some of those things. But
Yeah,
that's further down the
just
line.
go to a public rugby pitch and grab a few heavy things, mate. Get a
Yeah,
couch. Just
be
throw
right.
a couch over there. Do a bit of
Kegs.
fly tipping whilst you're at it.
Get hold of some kegs. That'd be right. Be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
There's a
that,
pub right
that's
down the road. We can get some kegs.
yeah, be right. I've already got some to be fair.
That's because you're an alcoholic,
From
Mike. That's a different.
wow.
We acknowledged
From
that in the last episode.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of the route I want to go down. I want to figure out what does a training week look like for her because like strongman athletes like is there any variance? So for some people, like in terms of day-to-day training, some people can train 4 times a week. So it might be upper lower, for example. Some people do multiple full body splits. Whereas I like to do push-pull legs, so I like to be in the gym a lot of the time. Um, I think one thing I'm gonna have to stomach if I do start getting into this is I would anticipate they likely have more rest days because the amount of weight they're lifting kind of it's a requirement to rest more.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm back at the gym properly now and doing classes at the same time, and I kind of like want to do a few runs a week as well. I don't know how I would feel about having a full rest day at the minute. Like yesterday, I almost did. So yesterday, it hit like 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'm like, I've still not exercised properly, and I was just getting itchy. I was just like, I need to do something. I need to go to the gym, and I decided, fuck the gym, I'll just go for a run. I think it's just like with these smartwatches as well. Like it does kind of pressure you into hitting the certain metrics.
Yeah. Again, this is where I will wear my watch for a brief period of time if I'm changing something, and then I'll just kind of go off how I'm feeling, which is why I'm not wearing it at the moment, basically.
Yeah, but the thing is, yours isn't a watch. Yours is just a band. It doesn't even tell you the time.
I'm not interested in the time. I know what time it is. I've got a phone.
Yeah, but you're just getting the phone out your pocket. I'm too lazy for that.
That's not what I'm wearing it for. I'm wearing it for data. I like data.
Yeah, no, it's so odd though. Like, why would you spend that much money on a strap when it doesn't even tell you the time? I feel like they're missing a trick there. Like, because don't forget, like, Whoop is an amazing product. I won't lie. Like, the technology behind it is more advanced than Apple. All they got to do is stick a fucking time on it. Yeah, but all they got to do is stick a bloody timer on it. It's not hard.
Yeah, I think the battery life in one of those is ridiculous. Like, it will last a whole week, probably more.
But then if it told the time, it probably wouldn't. But then say that watches last forever. Just stick an analog watch on it. I don't know. It just does my head in.
Yeah. I don't know. I quite like it. I think it's decent.
If I had a watch on it, I won't lie to you, I probably would buy one. That's why I'm annoyed. Because it tracks your sleep so much better. Like my sleep, according to my watch, I'm only getting 4 hours a night, and I'm pretty confident I'm getting more.
Is that so? Does it give you a breakdown of what that sleep looks like?
Yeah, like all the REM bollocks. I don't like looking into it because it just makes me depressed.
So you're saying your total sleep is 4 hours?
Yeah, on average over the last 3 months.
Yeah, I don't buy that somehow.
No. Like I won't lie, like I don't sleep great ever since starting a business is tough on all levels, including sleep. But it is what it is.
Caffeine though as well though.
You say that, I don't. I really don't.
How many times have we done a podcast and you've rocked up with a monster in your hand and it's like you're about to be going to bed for 2 hours?
Twice. Hang on. And that's because we're doing a podcast in the middle of the day, like we are now. It's 2:15 on a Monday. This is so abnormal, and I got to be on point. I need a pre-workout for my podcast.
You come up on like a 7 p.m. podcast before with Monster in your hand, and then you can't be saying you get.
Have I done that on a 7 p.m. one? Have I?
100%, 100%. I remember it was the episode with it was a green monster because it was showing up as brickwork.
Yeah.
In the background. Yeah.
I thought that was a midday one.
No.
Okay, well, you might have a point. You might have a point. Look, I cut it down, okay? I cut down my caffeine intake. Let's just say after 2 o'clock. After 2 o'clock, no caffeine.
What time are you going to bed?
9.
No caffeine past 12.
Oh, yes, Daddy. Can I have some now, though, please? Because I'm drinking coffee at the minute.
Ship has sailed. That might be an interesting point for people listening. So I'm pretty sure the half-life of caffeine is about 4.5 hours. That's why I say you should have, like, if you're going to bed like 9, 10 o'clock, no caffeine past midday. Because if you have, I don't know, let's say you're training in the evening, you're having pre-workout in the evening. Let's say that's 300 milligrams. Well, let's say you take that at 5 o'clock. By the time 9:30 comes around, you've still got half of that caffeine circulating in your system, or sorry, not circulating, this is the wrong word, bound to receptors in your system, which is going to keep you awake. Like 150 milligrams of caffeine in your system, that's enough to keep you fully alert. So your sleep, even if you're going to sleep, is never going to be good. You're not getting to a deep sleep, you're not getting REM sleep, it's only going to be light.
Yeah, I know so many people that drink coffee before bed as well, and I just look at them and I'm like, that's mental.
I do. I remember I've had this conversation with my dad a few times actually, because we'll be out at a restaurant relatively late, like 9 o'clock. And bear in mind, we're going home afterwards, and I'm assuming you're just going to sleep. And as he's finished the meals, he'll get an espresso.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Why?
And sometimes they ask, "Does anybody like tea or coffee?" I'm like, "It's fucking 9 o'clock, mate. What's wrong with you?"
Go to bed. Go away. Like, how far do you think you're going there?
I hate eating before bed. That's one thing I do hate. I can't eat and then go to bed.
I love nothing more than getting into bed with an uncomfortably full stomach.
What?
I,
Like you're
I,
hibernating?
yeah, I sleep like a baby. I think I'm actually like a bear or something.
That can't be good
Uh,
for you either, though. Like your
no, it's
body's
probably
trying to
no.
digest.
Yeah, it's probably not. And in terms of hormones as well, I'm pretty sure that might be one actually. There's a fun thing in biology. It's called a negative feedback mechanism. Simply put, when one thing is low, the other will be high. So you get this with growth hormone and insulin. So when we sleep, that's mainly the time our body produces and releases a lot of growth hormone, really important for repair and all this kind of stuff. So if you are getting a significant amount of calories in right before bed, insulin is high because it's trying to, you know, partition calories, drive sugars into your muscles and bloodstream, and so on, break stuff down, and it's still digesting food, and therefore growth hormone will be lower. So yeah, I think probably eating right before you go to bed is bad, but I do like it.
But yeah, I just find it quite ironic because obviously you're saying about like you shouldn't have caffeine, but it's probably a similar effect eating before bed, isn't it? All the
Yeah,
energy in
although
your
I,
system.
I don't know, I sleep like a baby. Caffeine
Yeah,
really
you
affects
pissed
my
the
sleep,
bed.
but yeah, it's not my problem.
Well, here she is, business owner, strong woman, winning Suffolk's Strongest Woman in 2022, and recently won Strongest Woman in the South. She's a professional sports massage therapist, also an owner and managing director of Amazonian Academy, providing comprehensive range of courses from level 3 personal training and first aid training. Here she is, Bex. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm
That
very
was an
good.
intro and a half. That was Jesus. I didn't even breathe throughout that.
Honest,
I think it's the
that's only a
longest
little
one yet.
snippet. You're going to probably laugh at my life history so far because I don't stop, so it's going to be quite entertaining.
Yeah, you got your finger in a lot of pies, haven't you?
Yeah, I normally, when people ask about this, at the end of it, they're just like, like, you don't have a life.
Exactly. It's only 24 hours in a day. How are you doing it?
I
But
know.
yeah, what are you doing right now? Like, what is your sort of what's your priorities right now?
In this current moment, it's so I own Amazonian Wellbeing as well, so that's my kind of sports therapy clinic. I've just got 2 new staff members on the go, so I'm getting them all sorted out ready, and hopefully my clients can start jumping over there. In between that, I've got the academy as well, so I've got running like regular sports massage courses. There's one coming up in May, so if anyone wants to qualify in that, they can do it through me, and hopefully I'll give them a job after. That's the idea of that, and hopefully in the
Wow.
next kind of few months, I've got another couple of locations opening up. Fingers crossed. So
Nice.
it's a bit busy, and then obviously I'm trying to, well not trying to, I'm prepping for England Strongest Women. It will be my first time doing an England's comp in May, but I'm competing in the under 82 category, so I've got to try and cut 8 kilos in, well, it was 8 weeks, but now I've got 6 weeks, another few kilos to go, so it's
Jesus Christ.
all a bit crazy in my life right now.
So, is your priority like trying to get away from being hands-on with the business, to managing it, and
Yeah,
then focusing on your strong woman stuff?
yeah. I mean, so the whole idea why I left my previous job to start the business was to have more time to get into strong women and get into training, and then without me kind of preempting this, my business just went phew, and it's like really good, but at the same time, it's a very physical job. It takes a lot of time up. So where, you know, hour-long treatments, I was getting about between 10 and 12 clients a day, Monday to Friday. And then by the time I got home and, you know, tried to figure out life, it was like time to basically reset, reply to clients and emails and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, and then get back to work again. So the idea of the academy was to start that up and use skills from kind of my past to then start it up, you know, get people qualified and get people trained in my technique, because obviously my clients like how I treat and stuff like that, get them, you know, basically mini me's, and then I can give them the locations and the hours and the clients really, and then I can step back and start going, right, I can run the business and become a better strong woman, hopefully. That's the kind of goal with it. So,
Wow. And why are you competing? That's going to be a long answer.
that's a long answer. It's a long answer.
Because obviously it's not really money, is it, right?
No, yeah, no. I mean, Women's Strong Women is growing. In the last couple of years, it's taken off, and finally, I think the pros are finally getting paid for it, which is like brilliant. Because before it was just a hobby, I think for most. But it's starting to be a paid pro sport now. So I think that's why more women are slowly trying to get into it. For me myself, I just love the sport, and I've hopefully, touch wood, I seem okay at it from what I'm doing at an amateur level right now. and slowly getting recognised so I can start, hopefully one day, maybe do a pro comp. What I find with strongwomen is I'm quite young in the sport because I'm only 25. A lot of the other competitors, they're in their kind of mid to late 30s, some even like in the masters category. So for me to like have that kind of, I suppose, like muscle density and strength so early on, whilst it's got to take up the building blocks to get there, you've got to kind of work through it really.
That's crazy. At the age of 25 and you've got these businesses and you're managing to focus on what you want, which is a hobby, I guess, isn't it, really? But it's turned into quite a successful career.
Yeah, and like it's exciting, and I'm hoping. So this kind of last couple of months is now the ball's rolling kind of thing, because most of last year was strictly all business focused. Like I think I had 1 week off the whole year, and I went on holiday with my partner, and that was it. Like that whole year, that's the only break that I had. So this year is more like, you know, get the ball rolling, start getting more time off so I can run the business, do my strong women training and see what there. I mean, even when I competed at the Arnolds UK last month, and that was just meant, it was an inters comp, because I won a novice comp and I won Suffolk and I won Hampshire's. They were novice comps, so then I moved up to the inters at Arnolds, and it was mainly just test the waters to see where I am after not doing it for a couple of years essentially, and just, you know, see how I went. I was only training back in it for about 6 weeks with my new coach, and I thought we'll see how it goes, see what happens. And then I came second, and it was like, oh, hold on, this is actually really good. And it was like at Arnold's comp level, and it was quite inspiring as well, because, you know, all the different athletes and the pro athletes, and I watched some of the pro shows, and I've got a couple of friends that are pro strong women, and it was just really inspiring to see them. And then another reason for doing the Arnolds was because it had a stone wall, and I'd never done a stone wall before, because it's where I live down in the southeast. It's quite difficult to come across gyms that have all the kit that you need. I find that I probably have to go to about 4 or 5 different gyms just to get like each training session in. But the Arnolds had a stone wall, so I was like, I'm going to do the Arnolds comp, have a go at the stone wall, because I've only done like singles on, like the gym that I went to only had one platform. This is like platform.
Yeah, I saw the video. It was amazing.
Yeah, so I wanted to do like a full run, and I thought I'd do the Arnolds. I'll be in that comp environment. It was a week before the Strongest in the South Chichester comp, and I was like, that's my main priority comp. I'm going to see how this one goes. And then I kind of come second in that one, and then, you know, that's when Silverback approached me and were like, we've got our eye on you. We're thinking about, you know, getting you on board as an ambassador. You know, we'll give you some kit, and hopefully you can grow through the brand and see how you go. And at the time I said, I'm really interested. And they're like, we'll let you know. And then after the Arnold's comp, the typical thing after doing a comp, everyone gets ill. So I was hit with tonsillitis for that whole week, and I was like, oh no, Jesus. I'm not going to do this comp. And then I think I woke up on the Sunday morning, and my partner, he was like, get out of bed. He's like, come on, you're doing your comp. And I was like, I really don't feel like it. He's like, no, come on, like, you've got to do it. You've been training for it. You've done all the comp last week. You know, just go for it. And I was like, okay, like, I'll do it. And I felt bad as well, because I heard that a couple have dropped out, and I was like, I'll go support the comp, you know, even if I come last, like, I'll just be there as a number. And then the first event, I felt so rough, like I couldn't even get the log above my head, and my pressing was something that I've been working on for so long, because being a tall athlete, like, my pressing's not great. Bench fine from my powerlifting background, but like anything overhead, it's just a bit wafty really. But me and my coach were working so well on it, and all the training sessions, it was going to plan. I hit all PB numbers. I really couldn't wait to get to the comp, and where I was ill, I like couldn't support myself. And then the first event kind of went, and I was a bit like, oh no, this is how the day's going to go. And then strangely, the other 4 events I won, like every single one, and it was like, what has just happened? And then I won the Strongest in the South comp, and I was like, this is unreal. Like, I can't believe I just like
with tonsillitis as well.
Yeah, and honestly, I look so.
I'm not going to be turning up. Let's just go. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I look so. Everyone was saying you look so pale and like done, and I was like, oh, I just wanted to like go home and get in bed.
What did you do that night? I bet you just passed out, didn't you?
No, the adrenaline, because you get like, that's why I normally get ill after, because you've got such high adrenaline all day, and the normal thing with like strongman comps, they last all day long, and you're constantly peaking that adrenaline. You're trying to maintain it for the whole day to get through all 5 events, and so by the end of the day, it's like, you know, 5-6 p.m. and you're written off. But then your body's quite restless. So that night I didn't really sleep, because my body's like, let's go, like you've been going all day, let's carry on. And it's like trying to switch off. But surprisingly, I wasn't ill the week after, which I suppose I was already ill, so it's not going to happen. But straight back into training.
That's crazy, though, isn't it? What, like, your end goal? Would you want to own your own gym then and create your own sort of perfect atmosphere.
Yeah, I'd love that. Honestly, if I had the funds to do it, I'd open a gym tomorrow. I've kind of got my own strongwoman kit, and it's kind of planted at a few different gyms for when I need to use it. But if I was to have the space, I'd have a full-on strength, strongwoman powerlifting gym focused on that kind of training, because that's what I'm good at, and I know a lot of people that work as coaches who might want to get involved and bring it to the
there's quite a market for it then. If there's nothing nearby,
in the
it's all in
southeast,
one place.
there's very few gyms. From my head, like there's one main one and another one that my coach runs, but it's kind of like a private class gym. But and even with comps down the southeast, it's very rare. You have to travel like 2-3 hours. Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham.
So where's the gym that's nearby that you go to?
So the nearest strongman gym, as in like a public one, is Evolution Strength and Fitness. That's in Maidstone Way. That's about 50 minute drive. And then my coach's kind of private gym in Sittingbourne is about still another half-hour drive for me. So like that whole turnaround just to go to the gym.
Is that
quite close to us though?
Could that be Mission to Condition?
That's it. Yeah, Mission to Condition. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, Matt Cole's gym.
I know. Yeah, I know from Bedrocks back in the day.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Matt's my coach. He's been coaching me for the last 2 comps, and coaching me for England's at the moment. So it should be exciting. He's also one of my kind of massage clients, so I kind of hit 2 birds, 1 stone. I treat and then I train at the same time whilst I'm there.
You can't really ask for a better coach, really, can you? He knows his stuff.
He does. Yeah, he's good. He's really, really good.
So I was just saying, like, when you're like a PT and you're a sports massage therapist, you're basically just networking all day, aren't you? And then you meet some amazing people and some amazing opportunities come up.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, I done my PT course, oh God, I think I was 18. Yeah, good 6 years ago, and I never used it. Well, sort of used it. I used to do like online coaching before online coaching became this massive thing that everyone does now. I used to literally just have like a Word document, and I'd make a little table up, and I'd be like day 1, day 2, and then like message people, text message on what they're doing for the day and their diet and stuff. I mean, coaching's gone a whole long way now. Everyone's got these weird, like, crazy Excel sheets where they're like, they can run like 50 to 100 clients at once, and copy and paste. It's a lot easier, but I never really used it. And the whole kind of gym rent thing, I didn't really want to go pay a gym like hundreds of pounds a month just to use their kit. And then lockdown happened obviously as well, so it was a bit of like a waste to use that. But I had the knowledge. I used to be a tutor for another academy that's no longer kind of open anymore. And then I kind of had the skills how to write up and program my own academy, really, and get all like the lesson plans and the processes of that and the awarding bodies. And then that's how I set up my own and got it going. Yeah.
It's crazy. So let's just rewind a bit then. So what were your interests at school?
School, I wasn't a sporty person, funnily enough. So I think the reason why, this could be a funny story. So through school, I was very like drama, art. I used to do a lot of sculpture and fine art. I used to do a lot of acting. I used to do, stage shows, singing, dance, all that kind of stuff. But I think it was one of those, and I went to art uni as well, so I studied sculpture and fine art and design, and I never used it. It's a weird one. I was really, really good at art, but what I didn't like about art was the whole like, oh, what artist are you copying, and write a whole essay about another artist, and it was all that, and that's what your marks are made up of. And I was like, I just wanted to do art and make a living from it. And then I kind of had people in my life at the time who were more experienced in that field, like doing masters, and they're like, you know what, it's not even worth it carrying on through to get your masters, because you then go for jobs and they tell you you're too experienced, and then they want apprentices, and you're like, oh. So then I was like, do I do this or do I not? And then I was kind of faced with, do I go to further, like carry on to another uni and study stage design, so like Warhorse and all that kind of stuff. I got through to I think it was Rochester UCA, and they were like, to do stage design, and I never went. I went straight to work instead. So I was about 16, 17, 16. And I decided just to go straight to work. And then I started as a lifeguard, and because my brother was like...
Lifeguards, I swear lifeguards are always the first go-to, isn't it? Lifeguard is like the first go-to for anything that wants to, like personal training or first aid. It's like, let's start being a lifeguard first, and then we'll see where you go.
Literally, and it was like, I think that's the only time I actually started getting into training, because I had to pass my NPLQ, so National Pool Lifeguard Qualification. I was like, I need to get fit, so I used to go to like their little gym in the leisure centre and do some like, basically become a cardio bunny, like go on the bike all the time, swim all the time. It wasn't really into like training. Because funny enough, at school, so going back, when I joined secondary school, my school was really weird at the time, and like I remember it was our first PE session, and they're like, right, we're going to make you do all these tests. And like, considering we were all like 11-year-olds who'd never done any type of like intense sport, you might have done a bit of basketball or netball, they were like, you know, got to do a high jump, long jump, throw a discus, you got to like do this weird like handstand thing. And obviously, I was this fat little 11-year-old kid that, you know, never done sporting like that in my life. And what I didn't realise at the time, they kind of made two groups, and they're like, right, you're the unfit kids, and you're the fit kids. And then didn't say it in that way, but that's how it was. And basically all the athletic kids got to do like javelin, shot put, athletics, rugby, all this fun stuff. And then all the other kids, you know, it was bench ball, a bit of rounders, and basically I hated it. And I was like, I didn't really enjoy PE. And
Jesus.
Funnily, it was, I think, only through like sports days through school that I had I can't remember my teacher's name at the time. I think it was Mrs. Mills. I can't remember what her name was. And she was lovely. She was just like big PE teacher. And I remember she come in, I was in the middle of maths, and she's like, oh, Gandy, come here. And I was like, why? She's like, you'll be all right at this. She's like, we basically got no one in sports day doing the discus. Do you want to come give it a go? And I was sitting there, because I was a bit of a nerd through school. Like, I never had any detentions, any behaviour points. I always had like certificates every week. And I think I used to wind a lot of people up. Like, you know, I was always like a bit of a nerd. And then he was like, come on, you got your PE kit? I bet you have. And I was like, yeah, I do. So I had to put my PE kit on and leave maths. And then she was like, throw this discus. And I was like, well, how do you throw it? And she was like, just lob it. So I'd done it like how she done that, 1, 2, 3, and I literally launched this discus like so far, and she kind of looked at me and she was like, do it again. And I'd done it again, and she was like, well, you've won the sports day thing. And she's like, this is interesting. And it's only, I think it was a few months later, and then I went into PE, and apparently I got invited to this Kent County comp in Canterbury, and it was like for the county like record type thing. And again, I've had no training in discus or anything. I've just done that one sports day random thing in the field, like nothing. And I'd done this comp at the county thing, and all my throws, I was beating the records. But because I didn't step out the box backwards, which I didn't even know what the rules were. They couldn't count it, but they were like, you would have won the Kent County record for what you've just thrown.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh whoops. And I didn't know. I was like so young at the time, 14. I think about 14, yeah. And again, just don't know. And then that was that. Yeah, my brother was a lifeguard, and because they knew me, they're like, we'll give you a job. And I was like, cool, brilliant. So I started working, obviously earning good money. Then I done my swim teaching qualification. And then because I was in that learning mode, it was like swim teaching qualification, level 2 gym instructing, level 3 PT, nutrition, level 4. Like
learning
all these
mode. I can't. That is not a thing in my vocabulary. Learning mode. I fucking hate learning mode.
I was doing it so long, but I think it was because they're all very similar topics and like units and stuff. So it was like, I've done anatomy and physiology. It's still fresh in my brain. Let me do another course and just pass it straight away because I've already done it. And it was like bam, bam, bam. And obviously, where I was earning good money from being a lifeguard and swim teacher, I had the money to just spend on a course. And I think, I'll learn it back. And living with parents when you're young, it was like, okay, I could just put everything on education really. And then, so yeah, I kind of done all those. And then I met a lady whilst I was working at the pool, and she had a daughter with like life-threatening epilepsy and Rett syndrome. And she was like, I really need help. I really need a carer, like someone who's first aid qualified, blah, blah, blah. I've got some to take on privately as like basically a private nurse, private carer. She's like, I'll send you in all the courses. You'll go out to Evelina Children's Hospital and you'll do all your courses alongside what you're doing now, and then you can start working for me. And when you're 17, 18 and someone's offering you like a good amount of money an hour, you go, yeah, like, absolutely. And I then went into like this weird like healthcare, like life-saving route where I loved that job and I put my all into the job, and it was like, I was pretty much Monday to Friday, and then I might have done a swim teaching at the weekend or whatever, but then that was kind of fizzling out by that point. And it was a really great job. And then I got into door work, so I started doing security as well.
Oh wow!
At the time, there's people in my life that done door work, and they're like, "Come do door work. and control and restraint stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll come do that. And then it was all like action-packed / life-saving jobs. So then I'd go swim teach, do door work, and then I'd care during the week. And it was just like work. But I think in my brain, I didn't feel like I was at work because I was so social with everyone. It was like I was just seeing different people in my life at the time and getting paid for it. So I thought, cool. Oh yeah, so by then, that's when I got into the gym. So I was with like an ex-partner at the time, and we both decided to go to this gym. And we walked in, it was Prime Performance Gym in Herne Bay, and I remember there was this big burly guy called Tom with a beard, and we walked in and he was like, oh, what do you do? What do you train? And I was like, oh, I just lifeguard. He's like, oh, you look like you could lift weights. And I was like, oh, I've never done it. He's like, do you know what a deadlift is? And I was like, no. And then he was like, oh, come deadlift. And apparently I think I picked up like 100 kilos first try as like this skinny little, tall little lanky creature. And they were like, wow, like that's really good. And then that just went from there really. It's like training there, and you get like friends of all powerlifting people. Like I met my best friend like doing that, you know.
I guess you were like, if I can do this without any training, imagine what I can do with training.
Yeah.
Your sort of mindset.
Yeah, and I think I had this whole thing through school, like I suppose it's bullying and all that kind of stuff, that I always wanted to like lose weight and all that kind of stuff. But then I was more interested in doing a bodybuilding comp and losing all my body fat. I don't know, some sort of like worth thing, but I was really young, I was like 18, and I was like, I really want to lose all my body fat, do a bodybuilding show, do a bikini comp, get all glitz and glam. And I'd done it, and it was good, but I didn't love it. I loved the prep of the bodybuilding comp. Like I loved getting really lean and, you know, doing the food, and you look like a whole different person, but to maintain it was really difficult, and the after effects mentally about food and disorders and that, it wasn't great.
It's literally what we were talking about this morning, wasn't it, Mike? We got a good friend, one of our first podcast guests. She has a bikini comp coming up, and she had to pull out of it today. I think she announced it because of mental health reasons, and it isn't great for you. I don't think mentally, it's draining. Like
I think it has to be like something like that has to be a full-time job to someone really. Like I think the people that do really well at bodybuilding, that is their bread, that is their life really. They're either an online coach or they don't work really, and they're just putting it all into their training really, because it's really intense. And you know, when they get to certain levels where it's like pro and they're paid, amazing, but when you're at an amateur level, it's not worth it really, because you know, I've spoke to so many people that have competed since I've competed. Like I think that first one's in 2018, and I've spoke to so many women that are just so messed up now, like in their heads, like I don't want to eat that, I can't eat that, or you know, my hair's falling out, my nails are brittle, like my skin's dry, and hormones
can't be good for you, can it?
And you're just like, what
hormones
are you doing to
the
yourself?
big one.
Yeah, hormones, and I've noticed this whole like Instagram surge in the last kind of 6 years, I'd say 6-7 years. That I remember Instagram used to take a picture of like a chair and put a really cool like moody filter on it, and you'd be like, ooh, like that was Instagram. And then now it's like, I mean, for me, my business is Instagram, but it's such a big platform that everyone's trying to be in the spotlight, everyone's trying to be seen, and they're doing whatever it takes to be seen, and sometimes that is dangerous to their health. And I think people get so sucked up in this world of like, you know, what do I look like and what am I presenting myself to be? They're forgetting that the real life is out there and there's more to it. And I think, like, especially bodybuilding, like there's this whole persona of like, you know, I've got to look this way, a bit lean all the time and show my lean pictures all the time. If not, I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not good enough. Or you get the others that go the other way, and then they overeat and they do this massive bulk, and they're like, oh, it's okay, I'm bulking, and they stuff their systems full of all this crap to prove a point to other people that it's like they're trying to justify themselves. And it's like, just live a normal life and do what you enjoy and, you know, along the way.
That's a great message.
Yeah, just have fun with it and don't like be obsessive over it. And I mean, I have to say, so I learnt that when I was quite young. So I learnt that when I was 19, when I done that comp. And I was all lean, all skinny, and it was all great. But then, obviously, after, I was like, you know what? Why did I just starve myself for 6 months when I just stepped on stage for 2 seconds? I got ushered on, quickly ushered off, not really given a chance. And you're like, that was an absolute waste. And the money that you put into it as well, it was like, why have I just done this? Why have I just done this? But then the good side of it was like, all right, I can reverse out of this now. I can gain the weight, I can get strong again. And then a friend of mine was like, oh, I'm doing a powerlifting comp. Why don't you come with and just give it a go? You'll be a junior. You're a junior until you're 21. Come do a comp. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. I think it's 21 or 23 you're a junior until, I can't really remember now. It might be 23. And then I was like, okay, I'll come do a powerlifting comp. And I went to this comp and I won it. And I was like, oh. Like, I mean, junior, obviously the percentages and lifts and stuff, and I think at the time I only done like a 140 deadlift or 145 deadlift. It was like a 60 bench, and I think at the time it was 55 or 60 bench, whatever it was. And I won it, and it was like, oh, this is actually really fun. And then the amount of like energy you got from a room of powerlifting and strength sports, everyone's really supportive. Even the gyms, everyone's really supportive. Like, there's so much like, wow, it's lifting is all about what you can lift. There's no competition with it. It's like you're against yourself, really. Like, you can only beat yourself what you're doing. Whilst bodybuilding, it was like, oh, she looks better than me. Her makeup's better than mine, her hair's longer than mine, her colour bikini matches her nails better than mine does, and then like you get on this stage and and it sounds really bad, but it's a bunch of middle-aged men that are looking at you prancing around in a bikini and bending over, and you're like, what are you doing, like, kind of thing. And then they're giving their opinion about what you look like, and then you feel shit after if you're not good enough. And it's like, mentally I think that whole sport is not healthy, but in a weird way I did it again. But like with the powerlifting, it was like, it was so raw and uplifting, and it didn't, like, no one cared that you didn't do this, you did that, but you'd done it, you'd done that big lift. There's no like, snidiness with it. It was like, it was cool.
It's interesting because there's parallels from where I'm coming from in terms of training as well, because I was stereotypically very skinny kid, wanted to get into the gym to get bigger and bulk up and so on, same as what a lot of people do. But then realizing, oh, hang on, this doesn't actually make me any happier. And then suddenly shifting that to be able to perform better and do more stuff, end up looking better as a result, but then can actually do more stuff as well. And it's exactly the same thing. Any kind of bodybuilding that I've come across is like, it's catty, it's bitchy. And that goes for men as well. That's not just women. It's sometimes worse for men. But then you go to powerlifting competitions and everyone's great. Everyone's happy, supportive. They want you to do well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the end of the day, everyone's in the gym because they've got some sort of dysmorphia, this body dysmorphia, or mentally. People go to the gym because they're obviously not happy with whatever they are or feel or look like, and you go to the gym to fix that and better yourself. And that's the healthy side of it, because you are trying to better yourself, but then there are the downsides to it. And you said it exactly right, like bodybuilding is unhealthy, some people would thrive off it, live by it, great, but you hear a lot of people that don't, or they make up they do, and you find out in the kind of back burner that they're not quite happy, and it is a very false world. Again,
what they're portraying on social media versus what the reality is.
Yeah, and the thing with social media as well, so when I met my partner 3 years ago, I was into sport, and I knew people from gyms, but I didn't know that other kind of next level as such. And then he was competing for England's Strongest Man, going on to UK Strongest Man, and then he took me up to like the Arnold Expo and Fit Expo, and I'd never been to expos or Body Powers. Or for me, I was watching YouTube years ago of like Callum von Logger, and like I used to watch Smith Julian and all these other people, and I used to follow their workouts, and I never met them, but I used to like what Steph Cohen. I used to just love them on YouTube and like watch the CrossFit Games and be really into all that stuff, but I never really knew there was this other world where you can actually go to these expos and see it and be a part of it. And he kind of took me there, and then I saw all these people that I had been aspiring to be online, and they're completely nothing like you see online. Like you think someone's like really muscular and big, and you see them in person, and I was taller than them, and I was like, oh, you're actually tiny. And like all these massive bodybuilders are actually quite small humans in a sense. Obviously their physiques look great, but they're not how you would imagine them looking through a screen at their pictures. And it was a massive
the photos are like, they got pumped, don't they? They got pumped, took a photo of themselves, and then maybe photoshopped it a little bit.
Yeah, and I remember him saying to me, do you know who that is? And I was like, I have no idea. And he's like, oh, this is so-and-so. And I was thinking, oh my God, like, they look nothing like their pictures. And I was like, and then you just see...
Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's not a robot, are you sure?
Hardy, I saw it, I was literally meters away from him the other day at the Arnolds. And the funny thing is, because we got the athlete pass, because we was competing, we was obviously allowed in at like 7, 8 a.m. before the public were, and we were just walking around, and there was the Panetta gym open space where people just go in and train and look at the kit and buy it. And I said to him, I was like, oh, there's Arnie over there with Phil Heath, and they were just get like a bicep pump, and it was like, we're just literally where the barrier was, we were just standing there, from probably where me the screen was, Arnie was just there, and like, he got eye contact with me a couple of times, and I was a bit like, oh, hello Arnie, like taking a picture, and I was like smiling, and you think, how bizarre that I'm literally like meters away from you, and there's people paying £500 to have a picture of him and queue for like 3 hours later on. And I'm like, he's literally right in front of me. I'm getting a picture of him, like here. I might not be able to talk to him, like, but I'm here. And it was just like, and then seeing him, and obviously, you know, me doing all that, and like, I just thought, what a cool guy, and he's in his 70s. But for me, he actually looks quite frail. And that sounds really bad, but he looked like an older guy, but he's in good shape. But I was like, he actually does look, you can see the fragile side of him in a good way. Like, obviously, he's lived a really good life, and like, you know, he's in his 70s, and you could just see, like, in his eyes what he's gone through, what he's lived, and what character he is, and completely different to how you'd see on the screen as, you know, you see in your hero. It was just like a normal guy, like, who's just done all this cool stuff. So that was cool.
I was just going to say, your head would basically explode if you were anywhere close to him.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Him and The Rock, basically. Just to bring
me,
into
yeah, him and The Rock. Like, if
him and The Rock.
Yeah.
Fuzz he'd have a very good time. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think I've never been the type of person to like fangirl, or like even through school, like when people like bands and stuff. I never like have posters of people on my wall or t-shirts and cry if I saw them. I just think they're like a person. So when I see someone that's really famous, whatever, I think of them as, it sounds like normal, but I just think of them as a person. I don't go, ooh, like, oh.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think like Arnie and The Rock, I've idolised my entire life.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's just like, I wouldn't even know what to say. I would definitely go straight into an Arnie impersonation. I would just go up to him and go, oh, to see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy, like this, like, I say this whole persona for me, like even my partner, like when he was competing at UK Strongest Man in 2021, like there's people, like there's kids coming up to him, like, can I have a picture? And he's signing all his autographs, taking all his pictures, and I just know him as James. I'm just like there to watch him do his show, and it was so weird seeing him be swarmed by everyone. And it was really nice. It was really inspiring, because it was like I'd love to be that person one day that someone looks at and is like, I really aspire to do what you're doing and be what you're doing, and like just give them some sort of like inspiration, I guess. I just thought that was really cool.
I think that's why people get quite addicted to Instagram, is because they have this feeling that they want to inspire others. But what you're doing is you're taking the natural approach. Like what you're doing is absolutely amazing, and you're inspiring a lot of women to follow the sport that is almost unheard of, especially 10 years ago. So you're definitely taking a better approach than photoshopping some Instagram photos and buying followers.
Yeah, that's definitely not. But yeah, no, I just think it's really cool, and like I never saw myself kind of getting into the sport, and when lockdown happened, it was like, I mean, funny enough, my old job, so when I was caring, I then done security, and I basically ended up in the police, and I was a police officer for 3 years, and that like woke me up to the world. Really, like it was very eye-opening, the situations that I had to go through.
You and Mike have way too much in common, by the way. You and Mike have way too much in common. So just, we haven't even introduced Mike, but Mike was in the police force. He's a PT, he's a sports massage therapist. I think the only thing he's lacking is an academy where you can teach it at this point. And you're a strong woman as well, aren't you, Mike, I think?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's just, you see stuff that you don't see anywhere else in the world, basically. You just don't see it in day-to-day life.
Yeah, and it wakes you up, because I think a lot of people don't realise the reality of existence and stuff yet. So that sounds really bad, but like when you see it for the nitty-gritty that it is, it's like, it's intense. And I did love that job. Like, I'm not saying I didn't love it. You make changes, but there are some politics and stuff that I didn't quite agree with in the pay, and I was like, it's not for me. I wanted to stay, and they couldn't help me with what I wanted to do, because I essentially wanted to do both. I wanted to PT and do that, and they were like, no, it's one or the other. And I was like, well, I'm going for the other then, because I can't keep draining and wasting my energy doing this. And when I was in amongst doing all that, I was prepping for a figure comp. So like 2 years after my bikini comp, I wanted to do a figure show, and I'd gained a lot of tissue and size through powerlifting, and I was like, I aspire to be figure women again. I think they do more of the stronger training, you know, they got more size to them, they got more strength, like, and I wanted to showcase both. I wanted to still be strong and then be able to step on stage and do a figure comp, because that was where it kind of fit in between. But then I experienced the same thing again, you know, you do this really intense prep. Even though I felt better this prep, like, I've done a really intense prep, you get on stage for 5 minutes and they usher you off, and it was like, well, that was a waste of time. But I loved how I was then compared to the bikini version of me. Like,
that's all you're doing it for. You're just doing it for yourself, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
You're not doing it for money.
No, and I wanted that strength back. And see, I kind of like, so when I was leaving that job, the police, like I essentially had like a TIA at work. so like a minor stroke, and it wasn't
Jesus.
intense that it's giving me any after damage, but it was like, you know, I was middle of shift and my right side of my face went numb, and I was like, something doesn't feel right. And then I remember trying to call the ambulance when I'm all like suited and booted up, and like I couldn't hold my phone, and I'm just trying to talk. And I was mid-prep as well, so I don't know if it was a mix of the fatigue from prep, not eating, the stress from work, the long hours that you do, and I was like, I can't put myself in this position anymore. So then I left. And then my partner was living in London at the time, and he was like, oh, why don't you move in for a few months and just chill out, you know, do what you want and just have fun with it. And I was like, okay. And then a friend of mine who runs his own sports massage kind of clinic from home as well, he was like, oh, I tutor for a company in London. Do you want to come do a course? And he said, if you pay up front, I can get you on a course at the weekend. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'll jump on a course. So I literally paid up front for this sports massage course, and I studied for 8 weekends. Yeah, 8 weekends. Studied, qualified, and I was like, okay, that's cool, it's another one in the bag. Didn't expect to open a clinic or anything. I was just like, cool, I can use that. Maybe get up my PT again, I don't know. And then a good friend of mine who owns the CrossFit box, so Ross, who owns CrossFit Stone Towers in Canterbury, he was like, Bex, do you want a room? And I was like, yeah, I'll have a room. And then, yeah, set up my clinic there. Kind of was expecting to have maybe 3 clients a week, just a bit of like pocket money type thing whilst I get myself going. And it just, like, 2022, it just went, like, I just went from, like, having 3 clients a week to having 42 clients a week.
COVID. People were like, I just want someone to touch me.
Yeah, it literally just up, and it was crazy. And, like, and even go, like, it was, and my life's been a blur since probably 2022. I've just been massaging the whole time.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. But, yeah, I mean, even, like, the powerlifting before the strong woman, so lockdown, so I borrowed some kit from a gym, had barbell and plates, and I literally just, other than work, I was just powerlifting in my garden in mum and dad's pagoda. There's probably videos down on my Instagram, like in lockdown times, where you just see me in the rain, like deadlifting with these like 2 bumper plates, like benching. And I remember I got my bench PB, I got an 80 kilo bench in the garden. No one was around. I was on a bench that was duct taped together. Like, it was an incline bench that was duct taped together, and I'm doing like an 80 kilo bench on my own, and I'm thinking, if something goes wrong here, I'm done. Like, my parents aren't even home, like, I'm just gonna do it. And then I just loved it. And then coming out, I done, I think it's Southeast Coast Powerlifting. I have to look at what company it was. So I done a powerlifting comp just for fun. I think it was my last one as a junior, and then I won the Junior World Championships, whatever it was.
Wow.
So it was quite cool. I got this big old gold medal, and it was like, oh my god! Like, again, I've just rocked up to a strength comp and I've won it, and it was like, this is fun. And then
your mum was definitely taking steroids whilst she was pregnant with you. I'll tell you that.
No. So
is it genetics? Is it?
No. Well, I think my dad used to play semi-professional football when he was younger, but he's not. Honestly, he's a pub man. He lives in the pub. He doesn't do any exercise. My parents don't really do much fitness stuff. To them, for me doing what I do now, they hate it. They're like, you're a woman, you shouldn't lift weights. My mum's like, your legs are like tree trunks,
really?
You look like a man. She doesn't mean it. I don't take it as like they hate me. I love my parents, they're really supportive, but like they're with me with my training, the strength training, they are like, well, your arms are getting too big, your legs are too big. But when I've been skinny prep Bex, obviously they don't understand the world, but in their eyes they're like, oh, you look really feminine and skinny and lovely and you're doing really well. And then in your head you're like, oh, I'm doing really well, but then you're actually like, I'm actually not well. I've got an eating disorder and I'm not great. Like, but then you realise that, and then you kind of associate that, oh, I look really good when I'm skinny and lovely and girly with my long hair and nails and tanned, but when I'm really strong and I'm winning these powerlifting comps, I'm winning these strongwoman comps, they're kind of like, oh yeah, like, oh,
but you're happy in yourself.
I'm happy. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of got that rebellious, I don't know, I suppose that rebellious kind of attitude sometimes where it's like, don't do that, Bex. And I'm like, I'm going to go do it. Don't do the intense job, Bex. I'm going to go do it. Okay, like.
Don't look like a man. Oh, I'm going to look like a man. It's fine.
Yeah.
But like deep down, like let's just say 10 years ago then, did you see yourself being a fully self-employed business owner, strongest woman at all?
No. Like,
it's just through the networking that you've made. You met amazing people that have kind of almost inspired you and given you those opportunities.
Yeah, pretty much. And I suppose it's like the fitness world, isn't it? You just kind of move into like you branch off.
I've kind of struggled to adapt to it myself. Like my whole life, probably up until about a year and a half ago, I've been very antisocial. like very limited friend group. I lived in Milton Keynes, moved down, didn't have any friends for absolutely ages until I had a kid.
Yeah.
And then I met Mike, and then I've become a PT, and I've met some amazing people. It really is just crazy how different life is when you just leave the house.
Dragging him out of his shell.
Yeah.
Voluntarily.
It is. It's true. Like, I mean, I don't think I speak to anyone that I went to school. I didn't really have friends at school. I was that weird person that would like
You were the nerd.
jump between groups because I never quite fitted in. And I think being a taller female, I wasn't muscly back at school. I was just tall. Like,
How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 6 foot. I'm quite lanky. Not lanky. I mean, there's people a lot taller now, but
You're not lanky, no.
But when I was at school, I didn't really have that set best friendship group. I was always a bit of everyone's person as such, if that makes sense.
It's because you were the tallest person. You were just like, you were the landmark. You were like, oh yeah, I'm next to the tall woman. Yeah, I'm over here.
Yeah. But honestly, I mean, I've got like, people call me chameleon because I've looked all these different looks. You know, I've had my little rock grunge phase, even though I do love my metal and stuff now. But like, you know, I've had that phase at school, and I've got those types of friends. You know, I've had the popular as such friends, and you think it's all about looks, and I didn't really like being there. I've had the nerdy friends, you know, sitting playing PC and like all that kind of stuff, or playing Xbox for the whole summer.
It's full circle for you now then. So you could become an actress and just have a whole portfolio of what you would look like in different situations.
Honestly, like if you like, because funny enough, I've got a friend of mine who does like different acting things up in London, and he was like, "Oh, why don't you make a portfolio up and do this and that, and you know what you could do?" And I was like, he's like, "But you need more recent pictures." He's like, "Because I admit I've looked through and you look like 10 different people." And I'm like, "No, I've been blonde, brown hair, red hair. I've been 100 kilos. I've been 60 kilos. I've been muscly."
You've got to be bald next. That's the next thing you got.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's crazy.
You can follow in Arnie's footsteps. You can go from being the strong woman to being the female Terminator. Yeah, and you'll be a. To be fair, we do need a new leader. Anyway, carry on. We won't go. This is not a political podcast at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to that. But yeah, I think I would love to get back into acting again. I think, funnily enough, it's the last kind of week or so that I'm thinking about putting together my little portfolio. And my friend recommended to me. He was like, "You should do stunt women stuff." And he said, "You'll probably have to do more fitness-related roles because you're quite muscly and stuff." But I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." Like for me, my ideal role would be like in Wonder Woman, you know, Themyscira world, like these Amazonian tribe, like, you know, whip ass. Like that would be my role. Like, I'd be like the action movie, you know, they're like in their really tight like cat suit, like with guns. Like that'd be me. Like, I'd be that kind of role, or evil villain or something. But I would like to get back into.
The thing is, it wouldn't blend in well, would it? That's the thing.
And
you're 6 foot
like,
and you're
so
built
tall,
like a brick house. So there'll be like this supermodel woman, and then flashback for you, just like they're like, why has she been replaced by this guy?
Just a blonde wig. Just Jason Momoa. Just run around with a blonde wig. But yeah, no, I would.
So what you could do? You could break the record of like having a man having a female stunt woman. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say Tom Cruise because that would be a completely different size. Yeah. But like Thor, that would be amazing.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be so good.
Would you follow in those footsteps then, like stunt woman then, rather than actually like actress?
I think a bit of both. I'd be happy to. I would like if someone said to me tomorrow, "Would you want to do wrestling?" I'd be like 100%. I've had so many people say to me about wrestling. I've got people message me from America, be like, "Oh, you should do wrestling," and I'm like, I'm some girl down from southeast Kent. Like, I don't know how to get into these things. Like, but I would love to do it. Like, if I get the opportunity. Like, imagine me like running out into a ring like as some character, like doing wrestling. Like, it'd be savage. It'd be amazing. Like hilarious.
So you're up for anything?
Yeah, like I can't sit still. I think I'm always doing something. But yeah, that's pretty much quite a sum up of
Mike,
my life,
you had like the longest list earlier when I saw it. Have you got any questions you still got?
I've got loads. So I mean, one thing for me is like you were clearly doing really well at powerlifting, right? So why the change to strong woman? Like, is it the number of events? Do you like the variety? You clearly want to be in strength work, right? That's kind of like what you enjoy. Yeah. But why strong woman instead of powerlifting?
I think I just haven't got round to doing a powerlifting comp again. I think lockdown was the big effect. Coming out doing a powerlifting comp, and then I'd done the figure comp, and then I think where I met my partner, he'd done strongwoman. He brought me into that world, and he was like, you know, do a comp, and I was like, okay, I'll try. And I done Suffolk's strongest woman, so Rebel Strength, I think strongest woman as my first comp, and I won it. And it was like, wow, you've just won your first comp. And I'd barely done any training for it. Like, I made so many mistakes during that comp, and it was quite hilarious, but I somehow won it. And then it was like, okay, right, get yourself some kit, get yourself some proper coaching, and do another comp. So then I got myself a whole setup of kit from Rebel Strength. So I got the yoke, the log, the axle, the farmers, all in one bundle, and was training that where my clinic was. And I was coached by MST Systems, and they're like a really up there coaching program of like a lot of top athletes in worlds and stuff like that. And I was coached by them for about, I want to say about 6 months, and I just excelled really, and I was getting really good. And then I done the Hampshire's comp, and I won that, and it was like, oh, I'm doing alright at this strong women stuff. And then it was, I wanted to do more comps. Well, in my head I was like, I want to do England's strongest women, I'll move up the list kind of thing. But then at the time of year it was, obviously all the qualifying comps had gone, so I was like, okay, I'll leave that for now. Then essentially work just got really busy, and then it was the point where I was barely training because I'd have a client, and then if I didn't have a client, then I'd be driving to a client or trying to do admin stuff or trying to, you know, get the website sorted out, get my business mentoring. I just went full work mode all last year, and every time I kind of thought about getting back into it again, it was like, oh, you know, I've just missed a comp, I'm not ready for it, and I just left it. I built up my lifts in the meantime. Like, I was just training at Pure Gym, and I built my deadlift up and built my squat up just for fun. And then I was like, I want to do another bodybuilding comp again, because in my head I was like, I've gained some muscle, let's do it. And then I just never got round to it because always something got in the way. So then that's why this year it was like January, I was like, I'm starting with a new coach, and I'm doing that Chichester comp. I've got 12 weeks, however long it was, 16 weeks. I'm just going to go for it, and then the Arnolds come up, and this is where I am now. It was just slowly getting back into it all. But yeah.
Nice.
That's a long-winded answer.
I'm very. No, I like it. I mean, I'm very impressionable by seeing certain things. Like, we go back a few episodes. Like, what was it? What was the meme? Do you remember the phrase?
Yeah. So Mike got triggered. So Mike, like, he's a PT. He's probably one of the best PTs I've ever worked with, right? But he focuses very solely on his clients and himself. It probably only, how often did you used to work out? I don't know, 3 or 4 times maximum a week. But then he saw this meme, which was, you're you're the pilot of your own flesh suit, sort of thing. And he was just like, he was just completely triggered by it. And then all of a sudden, within 5 days, he went to the gym 10 times. Really? Which is like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, God, he's easily influenced, isn't he? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But it's really coincidental, because last week I saw somebody put a post up with a link to a blog. And it was this guy going from, I think he's like a hybrid athlete, or he does strength stuff as well, essentially like powerlifting. Yeah. And he went and did his first strongman competition. So he's done some stones and stuff like this before, but it was under 80 kilos. And I'm looking at the numbers and I'm kind of thinking, I fancy a bit of that. And then suddenly we've got strong women on the podcast today. I'm kind of thinking, okay, so in my head now, I've programmed for bodybuilders, I've programmed for powerlifters, I've programmed for endurance athletes. I've never programmed for a strong man, strong woman, right? So what does a typical training week look like when you're getting ready for a comp? Like, so for bodybuilding, for example, might do like a push-pull leg split. Powerlifting might be upper, lower, whatever that happens to look like. What does it look like in terms of strong woman training?
So it's very comp specific if you've got to prep for a comp. So in my experience, it'll be like you get your 5 events, whatever's going to happen in the events. You'll have some events where you don't have to train too much for, because it's either a mover event you're good at. But I find my moving events are really strong. So like my farmers and yoga and stuff like that, I don't have to put a lot of work into it, because I think being taller, you get more distance as well. So I've got the strength, I've got the distance. It's like I don't have to put too much technical stuff into it. But for me, something like my log or my overhead pressing is not my strongest. So a lot of my training will be based around getting my press up. And recovering around that, and then also you want to get like an event session in your events day, and that's quite a taxing day. And the difference that I found, because I used to train like 6 days a week bodybuilding, you know, you do your legs, push pull glutes split type thing. But what I've noticed with the strong women is you need a lot more rest, because it's more intense and you're lifting a lot more weight. I'm probably only training about 3-4 days a week now.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's a lot.
Do you do anything like active recovery wise on your rest days? Because for me, I love being in the gym, I love training. That's the part I would struggle with, I think.
I do struggle with it, and I would like to do more. If I didn't have all the clients that I have, because for me, I'm standing up for about 10, 12 hours a day massaging all day long, and you're still moving. I think once I wore my Fitbit whilst I was massaging, just for massaging, as a little bit of a test to see how much I burn, and it said like 3,000 calories, and I was like, are you having a laugh? Like, in one, and I spoke to...
Jesus
Genuinely,
Christ.
like, full credit to you, like doing that for 10, 12 hours a day. I do 3 on the bounce, and I'm knackered. My hands are hurting. I've got forearm pumps.
You're not a strong woman, Mike. That's why.
No, I'm not. Clearly.
I think I'm just a bit of a nut. I've got so many people in my life that tell me off to slow down, and I just don't. But I think I've just got that brain like take it to every client I can, because I don't want to risk not having a client or whatever. But then I'm a bit of a nutcase, because I'll get up at... I'm not one of the people. I'll get up at 5 a.m. It's like I'll get up at like 7. I'll get to the gym for 8. I'll train for 3 hours until 10, half 10, 11. Get to the clinic, set that up an hour before, and then I'll be back to back. Like, so as soon as the door opens, the client's in. As soon as it opens again, another client's ready to come in. I won't give myself that break in between, because I think when I'm trying to fit so much in at once, I'm literally like bam, 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 and then by the time I've got home and like got through the door, it's probably like 9, 10 p.m. My mum's like, do you want some food? And I'm like, yeah, I haven't eaten all day because I haven't had a chance, and I haven't drunk any water, really dehydrated. And then she's like, what have you needed for tomorrow? I was like, I don't know. And it's like, I need to get in bed because I've only got like 6 hours sleep, then I've got to do it again. And I'll get like that, and then I'll have these massive burnout phases. It's really bad. It's funny but bad. And then I'll have this like burnout for the whole weekend where no one will hear from me, and I'll just like hide away, and then I'll re-emerge again. But that's what I mean. I'm trying to juggle that kind of strong woman strength training, not really getting my recovery in because I'm treating all day long, and then starting that process again. But yeah, I mean, in regards to the split, like today I done a kind of technical deadlifty type movement and good mornings, and essentially like a glute hamstring session with some row sprints at the end. Tomorrow will be my events day, so tomorrow I'll probably get in some sandbag run, like carrying a big sandbag, some sandbag throw in. I'll get in my farmers, anything that's like comp specific to the point, I'll do it then. Then I'll have a rest day, and then my third day would be a press day, so some sort of overhead pressing with like dumbbells and anything I need to match up with that. That's not going to fatigue me too much for the next one, and then I might have like a fill-in session of legs and arms, or like a bodybuildery type one. So
is that like monster dumbbell stuff rather than like regular dumbbell?
If it's in comp, yeah. So if it's on like so for the Arnolds prep, I'd have one press day where I'd do log, monster dumbbell and axle all in one day, and I might finish on a bit of like bag throw-in or something small. And then the other day would be really events heavy focus. So I do like heavy axle deadlifts, heavy bag carry, all that kind of stuff. More posterior, like kind of loading. But yeah, the sessions, it's a hard one to describe because they're very comp specific and what you need to build up really. Like if you're, like for me, because I'm weak on the log, I might have 2 press sessions a week, but one of them I might just be doing one bit of axle, and then the next press session I might be doing log and dumbbell. Just I'm keeping that skill ticking.
I bet you're the one that carries the shopping in from the car, aren't you?
Do you know what? I generally think I'm good at farmers because my mum, most of my childhood, I just remember having to go through Tesco's and carry these bags, like wherever I went, and I think that's probably why. And I think
that was the start of it.
Yeah,
that was your origin story. Every little helps.
Literally, I think for me as well, like, I've got 2 older brothers, and you get competitive because I wasn't like that tomboy kid, but I had 2 older brothers. If I had to have a fight with them, I would. Like if rolling around in the garden, it was all that kind of stuff, and like it'd always be a competition, like who can carry this for mum and get it to the other end of the garden quicker, like putting the pillows away, and like you could like go do this, and I just think amazing. Some of it's probably come from that. And funny enough, I was speaking to my partner yesterday about it, 'cause we were just talking about like trophies, and was watching a football match, and I said, you know what, I think I get some of my competitiveness because I remember when I was little and my dad used to take me to my brother's football matches, and my parents would be so obsessed with my brother playing football, and like, oh, he's doing so well, he's got this trophy, and I used to be like, oh, I want a trophy, I want to do a sport. And then like I never got put into a sport, like they never pushed me to do anything, so I was like, oh, how do I do this? And I just didn't. I generally think if I was pushed to do a sport when I was like young, I probably would have been Olympic level in something by now. But if I had the opportunity to like go do something really cool with my drive, I reckon I could have been doing something quite cool. But again, come from a place where the school barely gave you an opportunity, and your parents didn't really not their fault, they just didn't know where to guide you really. So I never got to do
I find that you want it more, especially if you're a rebel sort of mindset.
Yeah.
I think you want it more because people aren't giving you the opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've done it
Yeah.
yourself. You've gone out there yourself, and that's why you're 25. You've got 2 businesses or 3 or however. How many pies you got in? But yeah, it's absolutely amazing what you've achieved so far at the age of 25. I tell you, you should be
Yeah,
extremely
absolutely.
proud of
You
yourself.
should be really proud of that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I think I'd be quite intimidated though by a customer. Like being a customer of yours, I'd be like, I'm just gonna have a really strong woman massage me for about an hour. Don't mind me. do you give them a safe word? Because I think you should.
Do you know what? I hope my clients, if they ever watch this, and say, I think they come for me for that reason because they always say I give a strong massage. They always say you're not one of those tickly ones. You know, when you go abroad and you get that little that little Chinese massage or like the relaxing music, and like you come out and you're like, I don't even feel like anything's happened. But I suppose from my treatments, clients come out and they feel like they've been roughed up a bit, but not painful. They're like, I feel better.
Just been beat up.
They come back. They come back, which is the good sign. I've got quite a good. I've got quite a good rate.
It's
of
still
that,
black
so.
and blue, but they come back.
Yeah. But,
No. Any more questions, Mike?
No,
Before we ask the last one, I can't believe how quick it's gone. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's right.
we're getting through it.
We'll ask the last question that we ask everyone, which is around your routine. So, what have you got? Like a morning and evening sort of routine?
It depends. So my kind of Monday to Friday is work. So today is like my admin day. So I'll get my business mentor. He tells me off. He's like, you need to set a day to do your admin because you're working too much. You're not doing the other stuff. So like today will be my day for like scheduling social media posts, emails, thinking about what I'm going to do, sort my staff out, all that kind of stuff, whilst getting training in. I'm a mid to late morning trainer. I don't like training in the evening, especially strength stuff. I feel like by the time you've gone through your whole day, you've kind of exerted yourself to a point where you then go to the gym and try and lift a max weight in the gym at 5-6 p.m. It's not going to work. And like, especially when the gyms are rammed, everyone's finished work. I like I like getting up. I like having a bit of food, taking my pre-workout, having a caffeine, going to the gym, obliterating myself for 3 hours to the point where I can't walk out, and then I'll go straight to work. And then for me, I'll be working all the way until late, and that's normally my every day. I'll probably finish work at about 9, half 9, and probably 10 p.m. by the time I get home, and then finally get some food in, and then it's sleep, repeat really, and then the weekends. I've finally got to the point now where I have my weekend off. Before I didn't have any weekends off. I was tutoring for another company, so I'd get to that Saturday, Sunday, and I'd be teaching again. So, but I suppose now I've kind of replaced that with my own academy, so I'm probably not helping myself, but at least I can schedule it in to know what months I'm running a course as such.
Yeah.
Kind of combine it really.
So, what time do you go to sleep?
Normally, half 11, 12. It's quite late, really.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Mike's an early sleeper, aren't you, Mike?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm asleep by 8:30 a lot of the time, but I am up at 4:30, so it kind of
He's like a
balances.
50-year-old man, isn't he? He's like the man from Up. That is so early, Mike. Like I wake up before you and I go to sleep after you. But I'm a dad. That's
I'm a
what
growing
happens.
boy, Fuzz. I'm a growing boy.
Yeah.
I need my beauty rest.
Yeah.
You need
I
your
would
beauty
love-
sleep, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to spend more time in bed. I literally feel like I hit the pillow and I'm up again, and it's like, go.
I just hate sleep. I don't know what it is. As soon as I wake up, no matter what time in the morning it is, I just want to get out of bed and get on with it because my brain's just ticking. I just want to get on with stuff.
I think for me, I hate not doing it. It sounds really bad. I hate not doing anything. Like I remember as a kid, like I'd pace the house, like in summer holidays, because I didn't have anything to do. I should be pacing like an animal in a cage. Like I want to go do something. I want to go do something.
Yeah, this is me at the
Even
minute.
now, yeah, and even now, like I have a rest day, and like I don't know what to do with myself, and then I get this like not imposter syndrome, I don't know what the word is, but where I feel like I'm underachieving myself. Or I'm like, I've had a whole day off, and I've not done this. I've not got 10 clients. I've not earned this amount of money in one day when I should have had all this time. But then, people are telling me on the outside, just rest, just put Netflix on, put a movie on, and just put your pajamas on and rest. Like slow down. Like there's more to life than this. But in my head, I'm so frustrated, and I want to do things like.
Even down to like a recovery level. So I don't know. Have you heard of Dr. Mike Israel?
That rings a bell.
Yeah. So he's from like the bodybuilding background, but his go-to for bodybuilders, athletes in general, your default should be to relax, right?
Yeah.
So the best athletes in the world, they turn it on when they go into the gym or they're performing essentially in their sport, and it's all in. But then after that, everything is just relax, dial back, recover, because that's where you actually get stronger, So for you as a strength athlete, practice what you preach.
Honestly, like it's quite funny as well because people in my life say this a lot. Like, if I had the time and the drive, say I had like a normal job that I was really happy with, and I had a certain amount of hours a week, and then I trained and I had all that time off, I'd probably like excel in a sport so much more. Like I don't even eat the amount of food that I should be eating even now, and to get to like where I've got, it's kind of like scraping the barrel. But like if I ate all the meals that I should do and I had all the rest that I should do, I'd probably be lifting 250. I'd probably be like, deadlifting 250, do crazy stuff. But I kind of make do, and I should rest more, and that is my downfall.
It's hard owning a business though, isn't it? It's really hard. It's hard to switch off.
Yeah, it's very hard to switch off.
Like I recently, like last week, I started as a PT, right? So obviously I'm having to do a little bit of floor work. My main job is a business owner for a company called Fuzzy Logic, which is like a business technology expert, like web design and social media and all that lot.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
But so when I've been told to do some floor work, so just walk around the floor and just like show your face and like greet people and stuff. I'm literally like a budgie in a cage. I'm just like Mike's probably seen me just walking up and down. I just started cleaning. I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing the cleaner's job here. Like I just want to do stuff because I just can't stand around.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I think that's why I started my business really, because every job that I've worked, I've tried to like get to the top, and when I can't get to the top because I don't know, politics or whatever, or for reasons, I'm like, I'm leaving the job, then I'll go start another job, and then I'll work my way up in that job, and I'll be like, okay, I want to do more, and they'll be like, well, can't really do that, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gone then. And I think for me now, having my business, I've wormholed my way through that, where I'm like, I'm in control of myself now, and I can do what I want. I mean, like, reality of a business owner, if I wanted to have the time off, I could just put my phone down and like, have that risk of not earning the money and just go chill out for a bit. But I think I've got that mindset where I'm like, no, I want to grow this business. I want to have chains. I want to do this. And it's like, my brain's always just going. And now I don't stop. I'm probably working more than what I ever did in an old job anyway.
Yeah.
Even when I had 3 jobs.
That's how you become successful though, isn't it? Like you'll reach a point where you're like, okay, now I can relax. Maybe when you're like 80, I don't know. But
I always say the joke to my clients, like, they're like, you should slow down, Bex, and relax. I said, I will. When I'm in Barbados on my lap, when I'm like, the business is going, I'm sitting there on holiday, it'll be fine.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it a lot. I know you've been talking about trying to get some sort of networking thing sorted. So just let us know about that. It would be just great to meet you properly in person.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah, like I think everyone's in this world where someone else is your competition. Like I don't really agree with that. I think that everyone should, say with networking and the fact that you can do all these different things and they link and complement each other. There are ways around it. Like people are saying to me now, you're not worried about having staff members, they could nick your clientele. I'm like, that's inevitable. Like, but I want to help those people. They want to bring themselves up and they want to make a new career of it. I'm going to help them. And if it doesn't work out,
and it's you. You're the business. I think that's what a lot of people forget. Like it's you. Like the reason why they're coming to Iron Amazonian or Amazonian Academy, or whatever, is because of you. Like it's your face, it's your personality, it's your touch to it. Your branding, like you've done all that yourself, right? Like it's absolutely amazing what you've achieved.
Thank you.
And that's why they're coming to you. They're not going to be like somebody else could knock you off. That sounded a bit rude. Somebody else could knock off your product, create a whole different business, but offering exactly the same services. And it's extremely tough to start off. And even if you are copying somebody's ideas, like I only just started Fuzzy Logic 5 months ago, and it's so tough. Like I'm competing with, and the thing is, I'm offering web design, I'm offering anything and everything, basically business technology. But they're like, I'd rather just have a web designer that knows what they're doing and they just do web design. I'm like, but I can offer the same. So, and what's more? Like, what's wrong with you? That's the reason why I go to 3 networking events a week just to try and get clients. Like, it's really tough. Yeah. It's insane. I talk so much, and I've got obviously this podcast. I'm surprised I've still got a voice. I won't lie to you.
That's good. That's positive. You want to be out there. So that's brilliant.
Do you talk to your clients when you're massaging them?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
just to mask their pain.
And breathe.
Yeah. I was filming Mike do a massage a few weeks ago for his social media and his adverts and stuff, and it was just hilarious because all you could hear, like, there's no way that I could have used the sound because it was just like groaning and oh god.
Yeah. If anyone was outside my clinic door, they'd probably be like side-eyeing, thinking, what the hell is going on in there?
What is going on?
And it sounds really wrong, but in reality, your client's like eyes are watering on the bed, and you say you've got a trigger point on the neck, and they're like, ah.
Yeah. You joke about safe words, Fuzz. I actually had somebody tap out last weekend.
Oh, really?
Actually tapping out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It is what it is. They'll be back.
They'll be back for more. Anyway, sorry. It was really good to meet you, Bex, and hopefully I'll meet you in person soon. Good luck
Yeah,
for your
thanks.
next comp, or I'm sure it's probably tomorrow, knowing you.
Oh, thank you. No, so I'll probably be a lot skinnier if you ever see me next because I've got to try and lose this another 8 kilos yet. So it's a bit
Oh,
How long
intense.
have you got for that?
8 weeks? No, 6 weeks. Sorry, it was 8 weeks.
6 weeks for 8
Jesus
kilos.
Christ.
Holy
I'm 3
Jesus.
kilos down in 2 weeks now, so I'm basically going keto a little bit. So
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
Well, enjoy that.
I know it's not fun.
That's impressive, though. Jesus, I get like you're the sort of person that would like book something, and because that you know the deadline's coming up, you just have to get it done.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Probably go full mad woman mode now. I've literally got nothing booked in my schedule for the next 6 weeks. My life's so boring. It's going to be work, sorting out my food and training. That's all it is, really.
That's so you have to, because it's quite serious, really, isn't it? Losing all that
Yeah.
weight in that time. Anyway, thank you so much, Bex. I really appreciate it. Good luck for your comp.
That's right. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
And you. Take it
Take
easy.
care.
Have a good week.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
And that was Bex from Amazonian Wellbeing and Amazonian Academy. You go follow her on Instagram. Her personal Instagram is @IronAmazonian, and on there you'll see the links to her businesses. Go and give them a follow. Absolutely amazing stuff. Really inspiring, I should say. What's your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I start to notice trends about people. People who are big into their training and motivated to train are also motivated in terms of starting businesses and keeping busy and always doing something. I mean, we've said it enough about what I do, now what you're doing with all kinds of stuff. And the same as what she's doing, there's a definite theme.
It's the energy levels change, right? It's like you're
100%.
putting a lot more pressure on yourself. You're setting some level of self-discipline, and you enjoy
get
it.
your body in order, and suddenly the mind just wants to carry on and take it where it wants to go, you know?
Definitely. It's kind of, I promote that in my networking sessions and like within my other side of the business when I'm talking to business owners. I'm like, look, if you really want to be successful, you need to focus on you more than your business, and then it will come in. Yeah.
Everything sorts itself out. Yep. Very
Right.
Very impressive. Especially considering she's, 25?
25. I didn't even know that. That's
Holy
unreal.
Jesus, that's
Imagine
madness.
what she's going to achieve in the next
Madness.
5 years. We didn't even have time to ask her that question. Actually, like what her plan is.
No.
She probably hasn't even got a plan. She's quite a yes person. She kind of just follows where the opportunities are, which is what you want to be like anyway, isn't it?
Yep. Crazy
Right.
impressive.
Cool. Right. We'll see you next week, guys. It'll be a normal Fuzz and Mike catch up, and then the week after that, we'll have another guest. We'll have Alice Nicholson, another online coach working around the Sheerness area. And she goes to our gym as well, so be a good catch up. I've not actually properly met her yet. I had to go at her the other day on Instagram because she was working out when she was ill. That was my icebreaker. That was.
Fair.
Anyway, have a good week, guys. Follow us on Instagram if you're not already. At betweensets.podcast, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.